Good morning, evening, afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Bicker Bunch.
Bicker Bunch.
Today we are going to go back to our normal style of doing things, where we each just kind of talk about some random stuff. Today we're going to have Nick's got a milestone to share. We're going to talk about working from home. We're going to talk about accidental assholes, and if we have time, totally connects to accidental assholes. We're going to talk about Steven Seagal. So, Nick, why don't you get us started?
Wow, I get to start this again. This is...
I know it's a huge milestone for you. That's actually what we were talking about when we said Nick had a milestone. It was him saying it for the second time.
Yes.
Starting it.
Yeah.
Starting the podcast twice. What am I?
Okay, time to move on.
Actually, it's like every single time we've started, he started the podcast.
That's not true.
No, I did it last time. And Jam did it the first time.
Yeah. So I got two.
Oh, we skipped Brandon.
Would you like
do
to
you
start?
feel-
You can
do you
start.
feel-
Go for it, Brandon.
Do you
No, I'm
feel
good.
We already said
disappointed?
you're starting.
God damn it. All right. Well, 10 years ago, this month, I don't remember the exact date because I was badly injured and on a lot of drugs to deal with pain. But I published my first novel. Only one at the moment. The second one is still being worked on because, life and I'm busy. And I change my mind a lot. That's a weird problem. But yes.
It's called ADHD.
So 10 years ago, I released A Simple Love Story. I was quite proud. I still am proud of that book. I mean, is it my greatest writing? No, but I'm still very proud of it.
I mean, it's popular in India.
It is very popular in India.
I mean, it would be kind of weird if you were suddenly not proud of it anymore.
No, it was an interesting achievement because I learned a lot about the book business. It's not much different than the record business.
They all suck.
Pretty much.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was my share for the day.
Yeah.
Now on to assholes. Okay.
No, I actually think I'm going to go into working from home.
Oh.
Because Brandon sent all of us like one of the funniest fucking articles I've ever read. And it was about why millennials
And Gen Z
don't want to go back into the office. And
Tell us all about it, Brandon.
I think Matt's got this.
Oh, okay.
yeah, so basically it's what I've been saying all the time, right? That leadership is entirely detached. And this is probably one of the reasons I can't fucking work anymore, is that leadership is just so detached from people. Like, they're workers. They have no fucking clue what they actually want. And like, one of the funniest things is in that article, it was, what did they say? That when they surveyed leadership, they thought millennials and Gen Z wanted cutting edge tech and a touchy-feely culture. And when they interviewed millennials and Gen Z, they said they wanted money and autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
They want money, autonomy, and to be like shown that their work is appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally all they want.
Yeah, and I think it's hilarious because, I don't know, I don't see it right now, but I know Jam does, and Brandon too, where the now suddenly after a year and a half of
Oh, God.
not working in the office, suddenly they're like, everyone needs to come back because we need to see your faces. And like,
We
there's
need
a whole,
to connect.
yeah, and there's like a whole shit ton of people out there who are like, no, I don't want to do
we
that.
have the best year. Well, I know our company did. Our company had the best year ever. And they're like, no, we got to come back. Why? It's working.
Yeah.
Why would you make us come back? I don't want to do this shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to see people.
we've had
We
in the
connect
same.
fine. It's funny because they say that our teams don't connect at all, right? But all our team does is communicate and connect super well. So
Yeah, no, I mean, we've had in the same breath that they told us that we're not communicating. They've been like, "Oh yeah, we've done so much stuff this past like year and a half, like more stuff than the company's ever done in IT and security, like, but we don't communicate."
yeah,
They're like, how
can
is
we
it
get
how is it
anything done if
physically
we
possible for us to have done the most work out of any year, and we don't communicate? Like
Yeah, that doesn't make sense
that's
to me at
not
all.
that's not a thing.
we connect on all all the time through all the technologies we have nowadays. Yes, we grew up with technology, so we know how to use it better, and we just connect all the time. The people that are saying that we need to come back to the fucking office is the stupid scrum masters and the POs and the higher ups. They're like, I don't get this. I want to see everyone.
Yeah,
it's the people whose their job is to manage people.
Yeah.
So they don't want to.
They can't manage us at home because they can't see us.
And they've also been taught. I mean, they've been taught their entire careers, all the way from whenever they went to school or wherever they started working, that you can't have a good company when people aren't there, and when there's not a good culture, and it's just not true anymore. Like, you can create a very good culture without physically being there.
Yeah.
We've done it. Like, we have it. I mean, even with the issues that our company has, we've created a pretty good culture. I mean,
yeah, well, that's another thing is they lean on culture so heavily too, and
that's not part of my paycheck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Like, you can't deposit culture into my bank account, so I really, really don't care.
The only thing I miss is our happy hours, which isn't in the office, so I can just stay home, do my job all day, and we can go to happy hours and see everyone. That's the only thing I miss, and that was always after work anyhow. So.
But there's an entire generation of people, mainly your Gen Xers and your boomers and your baby boomers, who grew up on the in-office person, the in-office relationship, the water cooler conversations, and so now they're at home, right? Like you're at home, and they miss their water cooler conversations. They miss their meetings.
They don't need to be.
They miss all of that.
Yeah, they miss being able to sexually harass people.
You also got to think when I was learning to be a manager, I've managed a lot of places, and one of the things they teach you is, well, when the cat's away, the mouse will play. So if I'm not over there watching you all the damn time, you're fucking with something.
Our company sent out like 5 surveys where they're asking what we want to do, and everyone, like, literally 95% of the company was like, we want to stay where we are, like, working from home. Like, 5% of the people were like, oh, we want to go in the you
Yeah, and those 5% are the fucking decision makers.
And it's like, and then they're like, okay, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah, that's
why did you even bother asking?
They send out all these surveys, and then when you actually respond correctly, then they just send out another survey, like it's gonna fucking change the next time. And then, like, they do that constantly, and it's like, listen to your people. Plus, imagine the amount of money you'll save on fucking real estate costs.
Yeah, don't have to pay for that office space.
Yeah, right? You know what everybody has who works for you? Their own office.
Yep.
They've had it for a year and a half.
Yeah, instead of sitting in a stupid little cubicle. The problem with working at my company is you come in and then you're in this half cubicle that everyone can see, and then people come up to you and talk to you throughout the whole fucking day. You go to lunch and whatever, so I get nothing done. Why? Because I have to travel there, so that's half my time. Why would I don't get much done then. At all.
Bloomberg wrote an opinion piece last week about the benefits of commuting.
Yeah, fuck you.
And
there is none other than getting fucking road rage.
Yeah.
And being upset
I'm not
when
fucking
you get
kidding.
to work.
One of their arguments was, well, it gives your employee time to think it and plan their day. And I was like, yeah, when we're not getting paid.
Yeah, you know what I do when I'm driving in? I'm thinking about what I'm going to do after I get the fuck out of work.
Yeah, right.
I'm singing songs, so I'm thinking about literally nothing.
Yeah. Or if I have a long
or
drive,
screaming
I'm listening
at the
to an
guy
audiobook.
next to me, going, "What the fuck are you doing? You don't know how to drive."
At work, we always do a thing. Like when I walk in and our driver sees me, he's like, "What's up, Nick?" I'm like, "What's up, man?" And we both look at each other. Is it time to go home yet? Like,
yeah, exactly. You count the hours.
Tom Segura had a whole joke about that. Like, I know you guys are like cheering and happy to see me, but I know you're also going, okay, he can wrap this up now. I want to go home. And he's 100% correct. My shit's at home, right?
Yeah.
I don't care where I'm at. I want to go home.
I mean, I pay a lot of money for my home. Like,
Yeah, and
You're
I'm not
never
there.
gonna
right?
spend any
it's the
time
most
in it.
expensive thing that I pay for. I
have a
want to
nice-
spend some time in it.
I have a nice little apartment. I like it. It's okay to be there.
The,
My computer chair for my desk is way more comfortable than the one they give me at any office.
Oh yeah.
One of
Like,
my
my Tempur-Pedic ass pad, they ain't paying for that.
Mine is not.
One of my favorite things about working from home, besides sleeping in so I'm not tired while I'm trying to work, because when you're half tired, you're not getting any work done either because you're like, I can't think, is the fact that when I get on a roll, no one's bothering me. No one's coming up to my desk interrupting my thoughts, and I'll work longer. Sometimes when I'm coding, I'll sit there and code and be like, I have to fix this right now. And I'll spend longer than my work hours because I don't have to drive home.
Yeah, I mean,
So therefore, I can spend more time on it.
yeah, and you can have stuff to distract you, like, or have like background noise that you want to hear
Well,
instead
I
of having
love-
to worry about having people and be like, "Can you turn that music down?" Or like,
Yeah, that too. I love having Matt bring me lunch. That's great. I can sit and eat and work and
The
yeah.
worst I ever had at the office was anytime I would, like, people just do drive-bys all the time. They're like, hey, I'm having this problem. Hey, I'm having this problem. And every single
yeah.
time I tell them the same fucking thing, man. Like, hey, I'm tier 3, put in a trouble ticket. And they're like, oh, but you're sitting right here. And I'm like, great,
Yeah,
that's
that would
not
be-
how this system works.
that would be
tier
a
3.
whole nother topic of people follow fucking processes.
But yeah, like, and when we started working from home, I never got that anymore, right? People would send me emails and shit like that, and I would just reply to the email and be like, submit a trouble ticket, and then they would stop bitching and they'd put in a trouble ticket, and 90% of the time,
And
it
you
never
would
fucking got to me anyway.
Never see it.
Yeah, because they'd figure it out at some ridiculously lower level. I'm like,
mean,
you don't
it's-
need to start tagging the fucking dude who's making enterprise level changes to security policies with
Yeah, it's almost like that's
Outlook
like
don't
tier
work.
1 and tier 2's job is to solve those problems.
yeah, right? It's like we have entire staffs for that. We have tiers. Weird.
I also like doing yoga at lunchtime. And,
Yep, lunchtime
it's
yoga,
really
always
nice.
good.
Me too.
Until you
It
can't move the next day.
relaxes you, you know.
Here's what I never understood, and I would love to find that guy in the car business who said this is a good idea. And that is, everybody who is in this business must work a minimum of 10 hours a day. That never made sense to me. I am productive between 8 and 1. After that, I'm winding down to go home.
I'm productive between like 11 o'clock at night and like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's usually when I'm most productive.
Well, that's good too, because then you could just work when you need to.
One place I worked at, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but they let me do that. I was like, hey, I have a hard time sleeping at night. Listen to the last episode to figure out why. And I sleep better during the day and I work better at night. Like, legitimately, most of the time I am up until, like, I don't know, 2, 3 in the morning, and I'll sleep till 10 or 11. So they actually said, yeah, that's fine. You can get your stuff done. Every now and then we're going to need you in meetings or something like that. And we worked it out they scheduled meetings later in the day, and I was able to work a night shift. And it was great.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like if you work with your employees, your company will be better.
Exactly.
Like-
That's the thing, is you don't fucking listen to your people. And that's all that article we read. I don't remember where that article was posted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it also said that we made millennial and Gen Z workers made companies an extra $2.9 trillion last year, and
Yeah.
they still are like, no, you got to come back in.
Yeah.
Oh
and
man, I got that email today when they're starting to bring people back. They got the timeline. They're like, this is when we're gonna start bringing people back, and when you're gonna have to come back.
No,
And I
wrong.
was like,
Wrong.
I literally like get so anxious and like my stomach starts knotting up just thinking about it. I dread going back to the office. I do not want to do it
But
at all.
you don't need
because
to.
it's ridiculous, and I hate like the whole thing last time. Some of us have problems being in large groups of people. Like at the office, I am not going to be as vocal as I am at home
it's
to
because
fix your problems.
CEOs, and every CEO out there has to be, like, it's a definition for the job. You have to be a type A extrovert personality. Like, if you're introverted and you don't like people, you're never going to be a good CEO.
Yeah, unless you're the founder, they pretty much don't hire you.
Yeah, right. And founders are a completely different thing, because those are usually ridiculous introverts. But I mean, they usually found the company, get it started up, and then just hire a CEO and hold 60% of the stock for the rest of their lives, and make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
But they
Jeff Bezos.
And
No,
Jeff
he's-
Bezos is not an introvert.
no, God no.
No.
I don't know. See, I never see. He'll speak once in a while. I never really see him out that much.
Speaks all the time.
And then
Yeah.
he's like, no, he's just like, all right, I'm stepping away. I'm done.
You just don't pay attention.
I guess I don't because I
things
work
that-
all the fucking time.
Well, no, he speaks at very niche topics.
Oh, it's probably true.
So
And especially if you work for his company, he speaks literally all the time. Like
That's true. You did work for him.
message
so,
and
yeah.
shit coming out like all the time.
yeah, but yeah, like seriously, people, just listen to your fucking employees,
honest.
man.
Just let me stay home, man. I
Yeah.
just want to stay home.
Instead of like
I won't be
arbitrary.
anxious. I won't have to be nervous. Don't have to be around people. It'll be great.
Instead
And I
of
get all the work done.
instead of doing fucking focus groups and this
Yeah, where
and
they
that.
pulled their focus group.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Your focus group of your little cronies that are going to tell you exactly what you want to hear because they know that you want to come back to the office. Like,
no. Listen to your employees. If you send out a goddamn survey that says, "Do you want to work from home, in the office, or hybrid?" Listen to them, right? And it seriously does not affect your company at all if 90% of your company works from home. I've worked at companies where 90% of the company works from home, and guess what? They still exist and they're still profitable.
yeah, I mean, if you have people that at your company that aren't doing shit, you'll know it. It doesn't matter if they're at home. It doesn't matter if they're fucking at the office. Like, you'll realize they're not doing anything.
After proving we could do this for a year and we have time for ourselves, one, it's great because you have your own life. You don't have to spend the weekend doing
How dare
adult
you.
shit
How dare you have your own
and
life.
actually get to rest a little. I lost my thought. What was I talking about?
Adult shit.
Yeah.
And I'm old.
Yeah.
Just
I have a memory problem.
Jam's just so angry that she lost her train of thought.
It's true. It's true. I don't
But
wanna do it.
I get it. I've never had a job where I work from home. I mean,
and there are certain jobs that can work from home, and there are certain jobs that
Yeah.
can. And trust me, working from home is not like this glorious godsend to some people. Some people absolutely fucking hate it, and they
Yeah.
need to work in an office. And some people are absolutely useless from home, right? They're the people that'll get distracted by every single thing, and then like just sit on their fucking ass and play video games all day instead of actually doing any work. And
And then you fired them.
yeah, but those are the people that you either say,
Ruining it for us.
yeah, you need to say you specifically need to work from the office. But then you're singling people out. Your cushy fucking bullshit culture won't allow it. But guess what? None of us care about your cushy bullshit culture. The only people that care about your cushy bullshit culture are the people at the top or in HR who tout it.
or the people who got called out for not doing their shit at home.
Yeah, or them.
I mean, if you literally stop doing your job and you go home, you should either be fired or you should at least be brought in the office and put on a fucking pip.
Yeah.
I figured it out. My train of thought that I lost a second ago. So we proved that we have done this for a year, and the people who want to stay home, if you force them to come back, they're going to find another way to stay home.
They're going to find another job.
Exactly.
They're all going to quit.
Because
Yeah, or you're gonna
they're going
lose
to be
them
like,
because-
fuck you, because we know we can work from home, and we're going to go do that
Yeah,
because we can.
Especially when you're talking about like IT staff and developers and stuff like that. Like,
Oh, yeah, we just need a computer.
Yeah,
we don't need a
gonna,
location.
It's going to become the number one job benefit. Like, I mean, yeah, people want health insurance, people want vacation and stuff, but it's going to, and especially in the tech industry, it's going to become a very, very highly sought after job benefit.
oh yeah, when I was leaving where you work and I was looking for another job for so many reasons. That was one thing. It was not negotiable for me. They were like, "Oh yeah, we'll work from home now, but in the future, once COVID's over, you're gonna have to go to the office." And I was like, "Kiss my ass! I'm not doing it."
Bye.
Yeah, I was like, "This is okay. This conversation's done here." And they're like, "But you're local. Like you live 7 miles away from the office." And I'm like, "I
That's
don't
not the
care.
benefit of working from home
I don't care
because of how far it is.
Yeah, like I don't give a shit. I could have to commute for 4 hours or 2 minutes. Like I could walk across the street to my job. I still don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be in an office with a bunch of people walking around distracting the shit out of me or talking to me about some random stuff. And
I was talking to Jordan about it, and I was like, I compared it to like when we would go underway. We would go underway for like a month, and everyone would have to stop smoking, and everyone would get through all their cravings and stuff. And then as soon as they pulled into port, they would just go start smoking again. Like you already done all of the hard work. You've already gotten clean. You couldn't smoke for an entire month, and now you just go right back to it. And that's what they're doing. They're like, we've already set up all of these networks. We set up all of this fucking stuff so you can work from home, and now we're just going to tear it down and because we want to control you and you want you to be back in the office.
We want you to be sociable.
Yeah, and that's
It's horrible.
That's another thing.
Fuck
is,
social.
Like, you have to realize, especially when you're dealing with tech people.
They don't like people.
Yeah, a lot of us.
Like to be left alone.
Yeah, a lot of us are we're very shy people, and that's probably
drains
why we're good
us.
at technology because
I-
we don't want to
when
talk to
I-
people and we just play on
It
computers
could
all
be
day.
sociable if I don't like if I'm working, I want to be working. I don't want to be social.
Yes.
Like I can be
Like I
Like, I
said,
love
those
hanging out with-
happy
yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
Great. That's the social time.
sitting around
I
talking with
can't. I
friends
don't
when
want
there's
to.
nothing to
I
do.
don't want to
Yeah.
be. I don't want to be polite during work, and sit there and smile at you and have to be friendly to you. I'm sorry. I don't want to do it.
No, wanna
If
be
I
left-
want to hang out with you, I would be hanging out with you outside of work
Yeah, I want to be left alone to do my job.
Yeah.
That's all I
and
want.
get paid.
Get paid. Number one.
Leave me alone.
I have
and pay
never
me.
I
That's
have
all
never
need.
done a single thing for free. And I actually worked at a company one time that they screwed up their payroll system and a certain group of new hires because they like got acquired or something like that and they didn't fucking roll the payroll over or something like that. And I was in one of the group of people that didn't get their paycheck on time. And I legitimately, and they were like, well, we can't pay you today. And I was like, but it's payday. And they're like, yeah, but we had to order a check and it won't be here till Wednesday. And I'm like, all right, I'm not showing back up till Wednesday. Like, until you pay me, I'm not going to work. And they're like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, fuck you. You have to pay me.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this for free.
This isn't
Legally,
the military.
you have
like,
to pay
I'm not
me.
gonna. Not
Yeah,
gonna
right. Like, I left the military fucking 5 years ago. Like, you have to pay me or else I am not working. Every 2 weeks, we settle our debts with each other. That's it.
Pretty much.
Like, then we're even. And then you are indebted to me because I performed work for you. And then we settle those again, right? Like, that's how it works. You don't settle that debt with me, you are not getting. It's like what happens if you hire an electrician, if you're a home builder and you hire an electrician and then you stiff your electrician and don't pay him.
He
You
doesn't
think he's
come
gonna-
back to work.
Yeah,
today.
right? You think he's going to fucking work for you again?
Then we can ask
Hell
Trump.
no. Yeah, right. Or ask the guy who built my house in Hereford, Arizona.
There was one company
What?
I worked for.
Seriously?
There was one company I worked for, and they didn't pay their vendors. And we ran out of computer ink for the printers, and she's like, just go to the one company. And they legitimately said, she hasn't paid us, we're not giving you any more
Yeah,
until
no.
she pays us. So
Oh, sorry, Nick looked like he had something queued up.
I did, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. No, the guy who built our house when we lived in southern Arizona, he did not pay a lot of his contractors and legitimately dumped the house for like $200,000 less than what it was worth because he had to leave because he was probably going to end up beheaded in Mexico.
Oh,
yeah, a lot of people wanted to come after him.
Yeah, so
And
I
he
got
had
the
to
house
leave.
for a fucking sweet deal.
We did do, yeah, that's true.
But the house was also a giant piece of shit and was built like shit. I mean, like, legitimately, when it rained, it would leak in the room Nick was living in for a while.
I mean that's usually what happens when you buy stuff. People who didn't get paid.
Yeah. It was his house, too. Like,
He was building it for himself.
Yeah, he built
Yeah.
it for himself. It was actually like two separate houses that he squashed together. The floor plan is like super fucking wonky because it was like one house and then like the rest of the house and like nothing lined up right. It was really weird.
I don't know, it worked at the time.
It was a nice house.
It wasn't bad.
Have any arguments with it?
We
I mean,
made
like,
money off it, so who cares, right?
yeah, right. And the fact that that guy had to fucking run from the cartel and it
for
worked
us.
out for me. So like, you play fuck games, you win fuck prizes. So
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
Don't make us come back. Bottom line, that's all we
bottom
got
line.
today. Please don't make us come back.
So Nick again had
We'd love
another
you long
story
time.
about accidental assholes.
It's terrible because the guy was actually a nice guy.
Yeah, that's
But
what accidental is.
He was completely accidental. You know, I work 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. And until very recently, I used to do 7 to 5 every other Saturday. Now they listen to their employees, by the way. There's one thing I was going to add. They did listen to us, and they cut our hours back to 3.
you.
So we're now 7 to 3 on Saturday. But they listened to us, and I got to give them credit where it's due. They did listen. We bitched. They said, no, they have a point, and they listened. They did, finally. But so I'm getting ready to leave. I start closing down. I got the shutter down. I got my computer just about turned off. The cashier, I hear her counting her change out in the cashier thing. I'm like, all right, this is going to be done. There's no more service customers. She's shutting her shit down. My bell rings, the bell for the front counter. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I go up there, and there's this dude, and he's returning a part. It's 3 minutes to close. I'm like, all right, whatever. You know what? I'm still technically open.
No, fuck that. You should have locked the door.
I'm like, okay. So I get him his return. I bring it to him. He goes, okay, I need a part. I'm like, okay, it's now 6 o'clock. And I'm like, you couldn't have told me that a minute ago. I didn't say that. I was like, okay, whatever. So I go get him his part. I come up. He goes, oh, and I need this. And then I do the whole process over again. I come back up. And he goes, oh, no, I need this. And finally, like my cashiers, she's a single mom. Our other cashier's an older lady. They want to go home. They're ready to go home. They've been there since 7. They work 11-hour days, those ladies. And I'm like, no. I'm like, look, I won't be rude. Don't take this as rude. We're done 5 minutes ago. We're now on our time. And we kind of want to go home. Like, we're tired. We've been here since, 7, 8 in the morning. Can you please give me everything you need all at once? We'll take care of you. But please help us. And he's like, oh, shit, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I said, no, it's okay. I don't want you to think I'm being rude. I don't mean to be. It's just, there's a point where it's like, come on, man. Like,
Come on, man.
we're fucking tired, dude. You understand. We're tired. And he's like, okay, I'll take care of it. I got it. And he gave me his list, and we took care of it. He went out there. He's like, man, guys, have a nice day. I am so sorry. I'm like, no, dude, it's cool. You look at the door closed, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I feel bad being curt with the guy, because I always feel bad being curt with people, but at the same time, I think he's like the most unintentional asshole I've ever met in my life.
Well, it's funny.
He's such a nice guy, but you're like, dude, you don't realize how big of a dick you're being right now.
Well, it's funny because even when I worked at Lowe's
Mm-hmm.
as cashier and customer service and all that, we would literally lock the doors at closing time. We had people run up to the door like, "No, let us in." And we're like, we already counted the register. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go find your tape tomorrow.
And that was me when I worked at the auto parts store. Like, the second, 9 o'clock hit, I don't give a fuck how many people are in the parking lot. I was just like.
And they'll literally pound on the door, and I'd be like, I'm sorry, we don't have any registers
And I'm
open.
like,
we literally have dropped all the cash. We can't get to it.
Sorry,
It's done.
no,
You're
you
going to
gotta
have to
come
come
back
back tomorrow.
Well, that's the shitty thing, right? Normally, the 2 cashiers would have had everything counted and done by, 10 till. I had to ask them, hey, are you guys still able to take money? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. That was my nice, subtle way of making a hint. Hey, I'm trying to be nice here.
Trying to get
I'm
you
going to go
out
out of my way to help you. And I did. I helped the guy. And look, I'm in the business. That's what my job is. So it is what it is. But we've all run into that kind of situation where the guy is a nice dude or the woman is a nice person, right? But then you're just like, right now, what you're doing to me is just being an asshole.
No, most of my experience, they were all assholes.
Even if it wasn't the end of the day, giving you an entire list of parts
One at
one
a
by
time
one is
while
still
you
kind of a
run back
dick
and
move.
forth.
Yeah.
When he could have been like, I need these.
Yeah.
So you could just grab
Oh,
them
sorry.
and be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But you'd be amazed how common that is in my business.
No, it happens a lot. I actually don't, when I was working in auto parts, I didn't mind it because I am a little dyslexic.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you send me back there to go pick up, 4 or 5 parts based on part numbers, I'll mix numbers up and I'll give you the wrong part. So, if you give them to me, one at a time, for me, that was actually that was my preferred way.
But if they had it written down and give you a list, it's a little different.
No,
'cause you
they
could look
can,
at it.
No, they can give me a list, right? They don't know what the goddamn part number is from the manufacturer. I have to look it up in the computer for what they need. They say I need brake rotors, a fuel filter, an oil filter.
Technically, you should have wrote next to the list of the words the part numbers.
Yes, but I will fuck the part numbers up when I'm running a lot of them at once.
Well, what I do, the way our system works at work is we get, okay, they give me the VIN because, I'm a dealership. We need a VIN. And by the way, anybody listening to this, you call a dealership and you don't have the VIN, just hang up and go get the VIN and then call them back.
It's on your windshield.
It is
It literally
the worst thing you can do is call a parts personnel
was
or a
inside the
service
door.
personnel and not have the
It's also
vehicle
their-
identification number.
not have the number that tells them everything that needs to be in
It's,
their
it's
car.
like not having your account number
That
for
is-
certain things.
It is simply we go from being about 50% accurate to being about 99% accurate because computers do screw. The programmer is made by a person who might
Hey.
put in the wrong information.
Hey,
It's actually the database engineer.
Well,
would
whatever.
Fuck that up.
Whoever,
programmers are amazing.
yes, they are.
They
They
fuck
do
shit up all the
things
They
that
never fuck up
That's why patches exist.
because we copy and paste. We can't fuck up,
you guys
Copy
know
and
that
paste from
like
Stack Overflow.
which is probably fucked up.
Aliens Colonial Marines was a bad game until some kid was reading the code and he found a part where the programmer misspelled a word and it fixed the game.
Yeah, legitimately. that
No, yes, that happens all the time. I spell things wrong all the fucking time.
And it is that's kind of funny.
That's my biggest bug is the spelling.
But it helps them out.
We are not surprised by that.
No, you shouldn't be.
But it's a hard, like I said, it's a lot of work every day. So yeah, I appreciate if you give me everything you need. I'll write it down. I'll go to my little computer. I'll look it up. I put it on a quote, and then I take that quote and I give it to you and say, "This is how much it's all going to cost. This is what we got going on. You know, do you need it? Do you not? You need it? Okay, I'll go order it or I'll go pick it."
Put it back.
And then I turn it into an invoice, and then we're good to go. It's real quick. It's real, and it speeds up the process because I'm busy, right? I work in one of the busiest stores in Phoenix.
He's not busy.
We saw that video the other day you sent us.
We've seen the videos. He texts us like all day. He's not busy.
That was a funny. That was a funny. No, that was a Saturday. Saturdays, technicians should never be allowed to be bored. They just should not be allowed to be bored.
Yeah, there's just certain people that.
There's
need
just
to-
certain people that get
Keep busy.
destructively bored.
Yeah, Marines, mechanics, Marines.
That young kid who's doing that, right? What happened was they were on a skateboard, and I'm typing out my computer looking up a part for him, and I hear this. "Ah!" I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" Well, the next thing I hear this thud, like right in front of my counter. The whole counter shakes. And what happened was one technician pushes the other technician on a skateboard as fast as he could, and he could not stop, and he ran into my fucking wall. About killed himself. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And it's just because they were bored. But yeah, they are destructively bored. It is bad. They have tools. Worst people to ever be bored are the people with tools because they will use those tools to break something.
You ever chair jousted?
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
one of the most fun things to do.
It
if you
is.
ever have,
Especially if you're in a giant hangar.
do you not know what chair jousting is,
No,
Jim?
I know what it is. I was gonna say one time we were bored at the hospital when we were visiting our grandma, and so we hijacked some wheelchairs and we did a whole race around the nurses' station.
It's hilarious that this is about accidental assholes.
Oh well, you know.
Well, it is what it
What are
is.
you gonna do when you're a kid? You know?
We thought Jam is such a nice, sweet, innocent person.
Yeah, everyone does because I don't talk. So,
Yeah, but
but
like
that is not the case. I have devil horns growing out of my head,
I-
obviously.
I always thought the worst customers I always had when I worked retail, or actually any customer service job ever, was the people that have never worked in customer
Yes.
service. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, holy shit. Like, if you've never worked in retail,
Go fuck yourself. Go
Yeah.
work a retail job
Yeah,
for
like,
a minute, and everyone would be a better
just,
person.
yeah, like, I think there
That and restauranting.
Mandatory retail
Mandatory.
enlistment.
No,
You have
there's-
to do retail, and you
Fuck
have to
mandatory
do
military.
a restaurant job,
Yeah,
and
like,
you will be
do
the
6
nicest
months of military
people.
and 6 months of retail.
No,
service.
fuck 6 months military. Like, what you need to do is, like, there should be a hierarchy, right? Like, you start at working at a fast food restaurant, and then after you do your time at the fast food restaurant, you're allowed to go to retail because it's slightly better.
And everyone would be nicer
Yeah.
to each other
Yeah, and like,
while shopping
yeah,
and
because
eating.
holy shit, like, you people who have never worked a retail job before, you have no. Okay,
I've
you
done
bring something
both.
up to
It
me.
sucks.
You bring something up to me, right? And I scan it, and you said that's a different price on the shelf. I don't fucking know, man. There's 9,000 products in the store. Like,
Well, you don't go wander around and look at all the prices of
No,
everything before your
I
shift?
don't. And then you're like, oh, I guess that's free today. Well, it says $5.99 there. Well, guess what? It's ringing up as fucking $12, man. So like, I can price override it, but I'm gonna need a manager, and that manager is 76 fucking registers away from me, or fucking jerking off in the bathroom. Who knows? Like,
Yeah, and they don't believe you either.
yeah, right. Yeah, no one fucking believes you about this. So then he's gonna have to go look, and then we're holding a goddamn lineup, and there's 14 people, and then every single one of those 14 people are bitched up as fuck because you're holding the lineup, Karen.
Yeah,
Oh
you
man,
have to
then you
awkwardly
can't say
stand there.
shit to that person. It's great when I have so many retail stories. It's ridiculous. It was late. It was like 10 o'clock because Lowe's stays open too fucking late.
That's not that late.
No, it is in retail. So
I worked at Walmart. We were open all night.
but the problem is when it gets that late, when it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night or whatever, there's nobody in the store. They sent most of their fucking workers home. There's like one register open. The only one at Lowe's was fucking customer service. I have this huge line, and this lady comes up because we don't have returns open. You have to go to customer service, but the only register open is customer service. So that's where everyone's checking out. And there's nobody I can call for backup because we have no other fucking cashiers in the store because one's out in garden, one's down in fucking construction doing nothing because nobody comes to construction late at night.
No one goes to garden at 10 o'clock.
No. So,
So I do all my
but
garden shopping.
you can't leave your fucking register, so it's not like they could come help me. We have one person come in, sees this long line, wants to return a sponge. It was a fucking sponge at Lowe's. I'm not kidding. It was a damn sponge. I don't know how you could return a sponge, but they wanted to do it, and they didn't want to wait in fucking line. So they come up to my register, like, sitting there, like, looking at me all disdained and fucking whatever. And so they finally cut me out. I'm on a phone because I was dealing with some other customer, and we had to call something to another store. I don't even remember. I had to call somebody, so I'm on this phone, and she's like, "Excuse me, is there no one to help me return this sponge?"
At 10 o'clock at night? No, there's not.
I was like, "There's
You
a
can go fuck
fucking." I
yourself.
was like, "I'm helping this customer. You have to stand in line." And you can't be mean to them, but it's great when the customer you're helping turns at her and is like, "Look, fucking bitch, there's a line," because you can't say it, but you want to say it.
No,
You're like, "Thank God for helping
The
me."
customers are always the best when they come to your defense and they're like, "You can go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
You're
she
like,
was like, "Can't
"Thank
you
God,
see
'cause I
she's
couldn't say
helping me
that."
right now? You can go wait to return your damn sponge."
Oh, sorry. When I was, before I joined the military, I had dyed my hair blue, right? It was kind of like my last thing I did before I joined the military, and I was still working at the auto parts store at the time. And I worked in a very, very, very redneck area. And I will be unapologetic till the day I die. I fucking hate rednecks. And so, I had this redneck sitting at the counter, right? And there's 4 registers open. It was a busy fucking Saturday. And, he refused to go up and talk to me. And he was like, he gets on it was the time when the Nextel phones were a thing, and then the fucking goddamn rednecks and their walkie-talkies, man. Jesus, they think they're fucking truckers no matter what. And they're like, and that's like every fucking word that came over it, right? So this fucking jackass hillbilly, bumpkin motherfucker, probably fucking his cousin, refused to talk to me. So he's standing in this long ass line, and every other customer is coming up to me just fine, especially the regulars who know me and shit like that. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, what a fucking dickbag over there." And he's sitting on his walkie-talkie like, "I ain't going up to that blue-haired freak." And I'm like, "Good, I don't want to fucking deal with your ass anyway."
The fucking Smurf. God damn.
My best one actually happened at the dealer I'm at. This guy calls me. I look at the phone because we get caller ID. But, it's Phoenix, right? Everybody's from everywhere.
Welcome to the 21st century.
And so I look at it, I see that. I said,
We already went
the
over
guy's...
Nick's old. We got this. He calls it the YouTube. Go ahead.
It's like, Tennessee number, whatever, It's Phoenix. Everybody's from everywhere, right? Very few people are from
True,
Phoenix.
mine's 904.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
are not
Jayville.
many people in Phoenix from Phoenix.
Yeah.
850.
So I'm helping the guy. I'm looking at his part. I said, "All right." He goes, "Hey, where are you at?" I said, "Okay, we're at, blah, blah, blah." And I give him the address. He's like, "Okay, cool." All of a sudden, he calls me later. He goes, "Man, I've been up and down this road, and I don't see you." And I'm listening to the accent. I'm like, "That's a thick Tennessee accent." I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, "Man, we're right at the corner of here and here. You cannot miss us. I mean, we have a big building. We take up the whole corner. We're a car dealer.
It's a fucking car dealership.
Right? And all of a sudden he's like, he calls me again. Man, I cannot find you. He calls me a third time, and finally his buddy goes, dude, what state are you in? Because he's calling a 602 number. My friend's a moron. What state are you in? I said, dude, I'm in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona. And I just hear him go, you fucking moron. You're in Tennessee, you dumbass. And then the guy got shitty with me because I didn't tell them that I wasn't in Tennessee. And I'm like, dude, I didn't know that you weren't in Phoenix, Arizona, man.
We just
Like,
assumed that you could figure that out.
I'm X and X company. You know, when you pick up the phone, hello, this is X and X company. We're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, right.
Well-
if you've never heard of the dealership that you're trying to get parts from, chances are you're calling the wrong place.
if you drive down to the address that he says and you don't see a dealership there, there's a problem. You can't miss those, right? They're huge.
Literally, it will say the address on it.
Yeah,
when
and
you
it's not
Google
like it's
it.
difficult to find a car dealership, right? It's the place where all the fucking cars are.
Yeah. It
In
was
like awkward
funny.
parking spots,
Yeah, even-
and like
even if
on
you-
ramps and shit.
Even
like,
if you don't pull into the right one, they'll probably know where the right one is.
yeah, like I don't think I've ever pulled into a fucking Walmart accidentally and seen a truck on a ramp. Like, no,
one of my
I
other
don't know about that.
Well,
No,
okay.
just kidding.
my other favorite
Walmart's
stories.
probably a bad idea.
bad example.
We had a customer come in. He came up to my boss and said, "Hey, I need a door actuator for my. I can't remember what car it was. It was an older one,
No one cares.
and it had like this because you know how cars they have the moldings along the sides,
No.
the mid door moldings. Well, not a lot of new cars do, but certain cars do. They have
Yeah,
Like
older
in
cars.
your house.
yeah.
No, if you ever see on the side of a car, right, there's like a little bump that kind of sticks out. You'll see a lot in like 90s and 80s cars.
Well, early
that's all I
2000s
had
cars
no
had
idea.
them. They were like mid moldings, and they go along the door to protect people dinging your door and stuff like that. But this
Impossible.
guy did, because you can get to your door lock actuator. All you do is you take 4 screws off the interior door panel, it pops right out, and then your door actuator's right there. Cannot miss it. This guy took the molding on the outside, peeled it back, cut a fucking hole in his door, his sheet metal door.
Metal, yeah.
Stuck his hand in there and said, man, it was a tight fit getting that out of there. My boss is like this. And all of a sudden, my other guy I work with gets a text message. I need you to sneak around the building and take a picture of this door. You will understand when you come to this door. And of course, my guy's just like, what the fuck? All right. And he comes back, he's gone, and he comes back just fucking laughing. Right? This dude cut a hole. And then when George, he compared everything. So my boss compares everything. He puts everything back together. He says, yeah, that looks right. And then he covers it up with this thing. I'm like, dude, that is way too much work for 4 fucking screws.
Whoa.
Like, dude, what are you doing, man? It's like
a
right
lot
there.
Of a lot of people shouldn't be allowed to use things. So
Okay, so coming from a prior mechanic, there are, in your car, right, unless you are doing performance modifications, there is 0 times you will have to cut legitimately anything. Like,
Yeah, that's just not how they build cars.
yeah, right, like, they don't, like, it's not like a fucking submarine where they build a reactor and a fucking diesel engine and then they build the boat around it, right? No, like, cars are put together like fucking Legos. You ever seen the videos?
that's why there's the assembly line.
Yeah, right. And so, like, if there's ever a time when you're like, I can't get to that without cutting something, you're fucking doing it wrong.
Pretty much. Or one of my other ones, Red Dickville in Middleburg.
Oh yeah, good place.
We had a guy, he had a 2005 Trans Am. I think it was an 02 Trans Am. Beautiful machine. They are what you call multi-port fuel injected. He didn't like that because he's a redneck. Rednecks like carburetors.
Oh yeah.
So he took off a system that pushes 65 pounds of pressure to the injectors into the engine and stuck on a carburetor which should only receive 4 to 12 pounds of pressure. And fucking flooded his motor. Like, I don't know why it didn't work. I'm like, dude, you're dumb. I'm like, I just walked away. That was the only time I think I've ever been mean to a customer. I was like, I gotta go. I'm out.
And one people who shouldn't be using stuff returns one time. I had a guy come in, super mad. super angry. He's like, this fucking lawnmower does not work. It won't start. I can't get it to work. Whatever. And like
ain't no
screaming
gas
at
in
me. Literally screaming at me. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, I'm like, do you want to return it? And he's like, I want it fucking working. If it works, that's fine. I was like, okay, if I get the seasonal manager to come over, and if the stupid thing works, you're fine with it. Okay. So I get the seasonal manager to come over. First thing he does, lifts the handles, because the handles, are tucked in.
Yeah.
Because when they pack them, they're like, you have to actually unfold it all. So he gets the handles up to where you would usually have lawnmower handles, starts it right up. and I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, it didn't say that anywhere in the fucking manual. I'm like, yeah, because you fucking read the manual.
Yeah.
You try to start this thing without even opening, bringing it to start. Like, what the fuck, man?
Trust me, guys. Listen to our first 2 episodes, and you see what it's like when someone
No.
doesn't fucking read a manual.
But the thing is, it's like, so he took the lawnmower back. He actually thanked us and everything after screaming at me. Literally screaming at me like, this piece of shit don't work, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, no, thanks. Thank you. And took the lawnmower and left. And I was like...
It's because you felt like the biggest fucking jackass in the world at that point. I mean,
that's like the retail equivalent of your mom finding the shit that she asked for you couldn't find.
yeah, pretty much.
I don't know who's starting their lawnmowers without having the handles up, but by the way, guys, put the handles up because it locks the fucking lawnmower in place.
Just reminds me of Switchblade. They're all standing around this lawnmower. They're like, hey, can you take a look at this? Ain't no gas in it.
They're just, some people just shouldn't,
They just want the world. Like, they think you should stop everything you're doing and cater to them, because I've had that too, where another customer came in with another lawnmower. Surprise. She literally was like, I need to return this, but the problem is our policy is you can't have gas in it. We can't return anything with gas in it. Whatever. And I told her that, and she got super upset, super angry, like, why can't I return the fucking lawnmower? I was like, you can, you just have to go empty the gas out of it first. And she's like, well, I'm in the handicap spot, and I can't fucking load it back in my truck. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I need a code 50 at the return registers, which is, I need someone to come load this fucking shit back into her car. So,
I like that code.
yeah.
I had one.
And so she's all angry and like yelling at me. It's funny because my cashier, my head cashier next to me the whole time is like dying laughing because I'm just like the politest person. I'm like, okay. And she's getting angrier and angrier because I'm smiling. I'm like, I can get someone to load that in the car for you. And she's like, no, I want you to fucking return it. I was like, I can't return it. There's gas in it. And she's just getting more angry. And the person comes up and is like, you need something loaded. I was like, yes. Can you help this lady load her thing back into the car that I don't know how she unloaded it from her car because apparently she can't load it back into her fucking car. So...
I had one. It was a tragic one. Is when I was working in Jacksonville, and I had just
that's tragic on its own.
I had just got the
Amen.
store
The whole
as
sentence
a
is just
manager.
tragic.
It's like my first night, and this lady's coming back from Orlando, and she calls me up. She's like, "Hey, I'm stuck in Orlando." No, she's leaving like Tampa. She took like a weird way. She had like visiting family, so she like Tampa to Orlando for Disney, and came back up. She's like, "Hey, I'm stuck in Orlando. I went to fill up my car and like somewhere in like Kissimmee, and my key fell out, but it was close enough to the car because it's a proximity key to start the car." She fucking drove off, got all the way to Orlando. And a car never warned her because when that shit became possible was early stages, especially for like the manufacturer I work with. They didn't have that. They didn't have a thing to tell you that your key wasn't in the fucking car.
I thought your car was supposed to just turn off after
No,
you
no,
set it
no,
up.
not
that's
a
distance away.
Not
that's
back then.
that's actually a safety issue.
Yeah.
Like that's illegal to do.
Yeah, so she got all the way to Orlando, and then she was supposed to come back to Jacksonville that night. And she's stuck in Orlando because she stopped to eat something, went to go back
And
out. It's
can't.
like,
Can't start the car.
now it's telling her, hey, there's no key in here. There's no key
Yeah.
in here. And she's like, oh, fuck. Like, it's all, oh, no.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so,
not-
yeah, I felt so bad. We hooked her up with an Orlando dealer, but I felt so bad. I was like, oh, that sucks. Because
Yeah.
my heart, like, If that happened to me, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah, nowadays you can't do that because I like all the time my keys in my purse and like Matt drives like pretty much everywhere.
I can't be a passenger. I start taking the car apart and
He
can't
does.
put it back together.
He gets, man, on our cross country trip, I gave him the camera to take pictures, and we had the most blurriest pictures ever because all he was doing is shooting pictures outside the car.
I'm pretty sure
while
I also
driving.
took your glove box apart.
I'm pretty sure you broke it. So nowadays, like, so I keep my key in my purse and it's on me all the time. So we get to somewhere. He pulled up to like one of the restaurants for me to get out and get our pickup order, and like just pulled over on the side. You know, he was gonna go park, but I got out of the car with the key, and he couldn't drive anywhere. He's like,
Oh, yeah, 'cause
it literally crawled.
I was, like it wouldn't go faster than like 1 mile an hour. Like even if I hit the
no
gas,
shit.
it would
So
only
he
like
was
creep
stuck
forward.
at the curb, like blocking everyone.
I was like, I can't go anywhere. Everyone's
See, I had,
honking at me, and I'm like, I can't. She took the key.
I had a car, my car before my current, no, 2 before my current one. Theirs was so sensitive that if I took the key, the proximity, because I love push button start. If I took the proximity key and I went like this over to the passenger side, it wouldn't start. It was like, no, the key's not in here. I'm like,
Oh, really?
that's pretty cool. So I had to always have it in my pocket as the driver on that side of the automobile to drive that car.
Yeah, my mom's Audi will like turn off if the driver leaves the car.
Yeah, some will
if,
do
even
that.
if the
yeah.
key is in the car and then it's on, it will just shut itself off.
Yeah,
Which is
some
really
will do
annoying
that.
when you're waiting in the car and it's
Yeah.
fucking Florida and it's fucking hot as shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't here, huh?
My,
At 120 degrees.
Yeah. So
You
I mean,
would die.
100 degrees and like 90% humidity is still pretty bad.
yeah, no,
I think I figured out. So
That might be worse.
a random
probably
topic because we were talking about heat, just all of a sudden being left in the car in the heat. You know how we were talking about the baby on board stickers and stuff,
yes.
No.
and we're like, what? Okay, baby's on board. Is that going to make me not accidentally hit your car in an accident? I think it's for them. So when they get out, they see baby on board. I shouldn't leave my baby in the car.
No, so my dad's new
It's
dad's
really
new
for
truck.
them.
My dad's new truck. Legitimately, if someone gets in the back seat and like if you open the back door and shut it while the truck is on or something like that before it starts in a certain amount of time, it'll flash a warning message on the dash saying check back seat to stop fucking dumbass parents from leaving their fucking kids back there in the middle of Florida and dying.
My car did that because the first time, remember we drove my car. The 4 of us went to that I can't remember where we went to eat, and it had same thing. As soon as you 2 got in the back, it was like, hey, there's someone in the back. Their seatbelt isn't on. You have this car started. You need to tell them to
So
stop
what
buckle
if
it right
you
now.
put a really heavy backpack or something back there? Then it's like someone's in the back.
I've done that before, and I put a really heavy backpack in the front seat, and my car will go apeshit.
Yeah.
And
Mine
I have to
did
like
that
just
too.
reach over and buckle
knock
the
it
seatbelt.
over?
Yeah, I've done that
I'll
before.
just reach over and like buckle the seatbelt or something like that because I'll have like a heavy box or like my backpack
You
or
know, a
something.
useful feature for that, why that would be super useful. People can't be in the back and try to kill you, like the people that like get in your car. You'd be like, "There's someone in the back." Oh
My
shit!
car's freaking out.
I
There's
don't-
somebody in my back seat.
I don't think that's
Right.
what it was designed for, but okay,
I
Jim.
had that
No,
when
it
I-
is. Horror
when I-
movies.
When I owned a Dakota, when I was working at Walmart, I had a. When I
Yeah,
came
that
out-
was like the most redneck sentence you've ever said in your entire life.
when I came out of work one night. There was a homeless person sleeping in the bed of my truck, and I didn't realize he was there until I started the truck, and he like got up and jumped out, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I think it's funny because we were at a birthday party one time. We were playing hide and go seek. Teenager, you know where we met. The,
Oh yeah, when we just made out the entire time.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't remember anything
I
else
used to
from that
have
birthday
I used
party.
to have a Chevy Colorado. It was my first car. Yes, I can't pronounce my first car.
You shouldn't have names you can't pronounce.
Yeah, right. You just have to start buying vehicles.
What was that, Jam?
It was a Chevy Colorado.
Okay.
Colorado.
Colorado.
Watch our beer roulette video. You'll hear her say that before. Like,
Because one of the beers were from Colorado.
Yeah, we just buy your own orange beers from Colorado. That's all we do. Just
it wasn't an orange beer. I don't think
there was orange beer.
there was an orange.
It
beer. I
it wasn't
don't
from
remember.
Colorado though.
If you watch the video,
I've spent like 6 hours watching that fucking video, man.
But anyway, so I had a Chevy Colorado truck, and it was funny because people hid in the back of it. And I like hit the panic alarm, and they all freaked out and jumped out. And I was like, I found you all. There you are. I'm just kidding.
I used to have, when I worked at the auto parts store again, a lot of shit happened at the auto parts store because I was in somehow the weird. Okay, so if you guys have never been to Jacksonville, it is nothing but like redneck and ghetto right next to each other. So you put the two
And
groups.
nice, honestly. It's like everything's
I mean, like,
nice. There's like some nice. You're like, here's a nice little neighborhood.
Yeah, there's like a
right
nice
next to this
pocket.
trailer park, next to another nice neighborhood, next to another trailer park,
And then there's like ghetto sprinkled in somewhere. And so
and
like,
then some other stuff.
yeah, so the problem with
It's
like,
all mixed in.
the problem with
The
Jacksonville is
whole
they like,
town.
yeah, everything is intermingled and it's a bunch of groups of people that don't like each other because you have a bunch of racist ass rednecks.
It's true. Man, when they built that bus station, some of the
Oh yeah, the worst
meanest
comments you'll
ever.
see are on there. But so I was, I had this this crackhead. He would always come in, and you know he's a crackhead. I mean, once you've lived in Jacksonville for a while, you can just spot a crackhead. And legitimately, the guy walked in, made eye contact with me, walked over to the shelf, grabbed the most expensive fucking thing we have in the store, which was a Hirsch shifter. It was like $350. Like from the shelf, brought it up to me and said, "I want to return this." And I was like, no.
I will return this right after you buy it.
Yeah, I was like, I legitimately watched you walk in and grab that, and he was like, nah, I didn't do that. And I was like, we made eye contact. You walked in the store with no giant box to the shelf, grabbed giant box, brought it, like, you're the only fucking person in the store. It's 9:45 at night. Like,
Oh man, the
Retail.
crazy stuff. We had someone try to return some tools because tools is another popular. They bought a new one. They put their old one back into the toolbox.
Oh yeah.
that
Came to
happens all the
return
time.
it, and we're like, no. We're like, this isn't even the same year as the box. Like, this is a 2000 whatever, and your tool is like a 1940, whatever. We're like, no.
1940. That's
1942. Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and they had
Definitely-
jackhammers. And
Definitely
No,
wasn't
no.
1942.
That was more like Hitler
1849.
was blowing
It's like
things up.
14.
I don't know anything about dates. I know what happened
You
in
want
history.
14,
I don't know.
1492.
1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
She had the right numbers, just wrong
And then,
order.
like, killed a whole
Well, the
bunch of
42
indigenous
part.
people and, like,
No.
was just generally a bastard.
it never stood.
I
for
never
America.
understood history because I understand what happened in history, but I can never remember the fucking dates because I can't remember what today is.
I mean, it's more.
I
Important.
mean, Nick
it's more
couldn't
important to
remember
know what
last
happened.
podcast what fucking day it was. Remember, we argued about it going, no, the computer says it's 29th. And you're like, no, it's the 28th.
I'm like, the computer says
It's
it.
the 29th, Nick. So how am I supposed to remember 1452?
Every day for me is Groundhog
92,
Day.
42.
1492.
It's history. Dates are the most important thing. They're not. But every history teacher will tell you dates are the most important thing. They're not. Harsh dictators are the most important thing to learn in history.
No, learning the patterns of what happens
Yes,
is the most
yes.
important thing in
Watching
history.
every single 100 years, the rise of fascism and fall of fascism is probably the most important thing you should look at in varying countries.
So you can pick it out when it happens
Yes,
again.
And when it starts to happen again and people start fucking objecting against elections and changing laws to, stop black people from
One
voting.
of the things I always found odd and
Hashtag America.
studied
America.
history in college, and then you go from your government education system, and you go to college, right? Government education system teaches you the buffaloes are extinct. They teach you that Columbus wanted to prove that the world is round. When you get to
No,
college,
he
you find out.
he's discovered a new route to America.
Well, you also find
Or
out
to
that
the India.
Yeah,
to India.
It was to India. To the Indies.
And discovered America.
And by the way, people knew that America
Galileo
was here.
proved it was round
was-
way before.
Columbus
It
wasn't
was
trying
way
to,
before Galileo
Yeah.
Columbus
that they
wasn't,
proved it was round.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to prove it was round, Nick.
No,
He was
I know,
trying to find a new trade
but
route.
but that's what they always tell you,
He was
right?
trying to make money.
No.
That's what he
And
was trying to do.
There was his, well, he discovered,
Wrong,
and it's
I
all about, he
disagree.
discovered the mainland, and then he discovered the U.S. That's not true, right? The New World was discovered by the Vikings, and he was using charts that were kind of taken from them. You know what I mean?
The New World was discovered by the people who already fucking lived here.
Well, there is that. But like European, documented European
when they
history.
walked across the continent before it had separated.
We have discovered
Yes.
this land where thousands of people live already.
I claim this land that's the home for fuck tons of people already.
I mean, this is like
Well,
they
'cause
did the
they
same
didn't
thing
live
with
in their
India and
cities
like
yet.
a lot of other
Oh, yeah.
countries too.
They did
Yes,
all
no,
the
they
time.
did. Like colonialism was a fucking son of a bitch, man. Like
Like,
just
hey.
look into history of colonialism, and you're like, oh my god. we
Or
did
the
what
sheer
to how many
brutality
people?
of, but it's always been there, right? Like Rome or Greece did it before.
Oh, yeah.
Rome did it. The Mongolians were fucking notorious of it.
Ottoman
the
Empire.
the Ottoman
The
Empire,
Ottomans, yeah.
the Persian Empire,
The Austro-Hungarian Empire. was
Austrian-Hungarian,
huge
Yeah,
before
pretty
World
much
War
any
I.
empire.
Well,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean, that's
the
kind
English, the
that's kind of
French. They
kind
all
of the point of
did
an
that.
empire.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
the Star Wars one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Darth Vader, Palpatine. You know, theirs was pretty bad.
Yeah.
China.
Well, don't worry. We'll get to that point now that we have
What's
Space
weird
Marines.
is like China
Or,
rejects
What is it called?
all things Mongolia, but they are doing shit the way the Mongolians used to do shit. It's weird.
Oh, by the way, and I will absolutely call this piece of shit out. Fuck you, John Cena.
Yep, fuck you.
Cocksucker.
You guys want to get me going? You want to get me angry? This is the topic to get me angry. But
Not right now.
no, probably not the best time. But
Why not? It's called the Bicker Bunch. It's the best time.
That'll be like a whole other show.
I have been saying for years,
Yeah,
you
true.
do not take money from tyrannical dictators. And Activision, Hollywood, NBA, they can all lick my balls because that's exactly what they did. And now they have
NFL.
the NFL.
NFL because Tom Brady had to learn Mandarin so
Oh,
they
yeah.
could fucking fluff his
So
dick
now-
over there in China.
All China has to do is say, Taiwan isn't a country. It's ours. Fuck the fact that Taiwan is the only free country in that little area, by the way. They're the ones that we should be like, no, good job, Taiwan. We like you because you do good things. No, we like, oh no, we apologize. Taiwan isn't a country. It's like, no, fuck you. Taiwan is a country. Hong Kong should be free because they signed a treaty. They went against that treaty. It should be British again. Let's just be honest with you. It
Well,
should be back in the hands of the
I don't think it
English.
should be hands of the Brits. I think it should be Hong Kong, like the
It
fucking
should be-
treaty said.
it should be Hong Kong.
Legitimately, when the Brits released, like, because the lease, by the way, apparently you can lease countries. The lease on Hong Kong ended, and the agreement was China was not allowed to interfere with the politics or operations of Hong Kong for the next 100 years, right? It was the ultimate, I don't know what to do with this place, so we'll just kick it down the road to the next generation. And then China said, yeah, we agree to that. And then they fucking completely
took over.
screwed the deal and like took over Hong Kong. I've been to Hong Kong. That was one of my favorite places I've ever been to. I thought it was an amazing place. I won't go there now.
Look, I got respect for the Aussies because they at least finally stood up to China and said, no, you need to stop this shit because we'll fight you. And they're like, and the Chinese, heck, they did a little double take. They will say publicly they didn't. But you notice they kind of like backed off of Australia and talking shit about Australia. They backed right up because Australians were like, no, you want to go?
It's because who Australia's allies are. It's not because of Australia itself.
Yeah, right.
Like they'll talk shit to us because they know we won't directly do anything because they own half of all of our businesses.
Yeah,
They do. It's shitty, and it sucks. You cannot get a good Star Wars movie. You cannot get a good Disney movie, period. You cannot get a good Marvel movie because they all got to conform to Chinese policies.
Oh, yeah.
Why the fuck is the freest nation in the world, or one of the freest nations in the world?
Nah.
You can go there, but right now we are a free nation. We're the largest economy in the world. Why are we
Free-ish nation.
The free nation
walking
under the
up
dollar
to
bill.
the? Why are we
Yeah.
kissing the ass of people who murder people on their borders, who take land? You know that.
Who are literally, as we are speaking, committing fucking genocide.
Yeah, they're committing
in
genocide.
in the western part of their country.
There's like buffer zones between them and like their border countries because they have to have that buffer zone because they're this close from going to war with like Pakistan, India, and all those people because they're trying to Nepal.
They've been trying to.
They've
fuck
been
over
murdering the
Nepal
shit
for-
out of those poor people
Yeah.
for. I mean, and yet we are gonna say, "Oh no, we're sorry. Taiwan's not a country, and Hong Kong. That's cool what you're doing in Hong Kong. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can take your money and go kiss my ass. Because by the way, we have enough of our own. But Disney's too much cowards. Yes, Disney, you're a fucking coward. So is John Cena. So is the Fast and the Furious people. So is just about every one of those assholes in fucking Hollywood. I'm sick of them. I'm done. They
Yeah,
can all kiss my ass. Activision, you can take your fucking Call of Duty, your goddamn Blizzard, and go to hell.
Oh, Blizzard! Holy shit!
Blizzard's owned by Activision, and
Yeah,
they
that
can
was a
all
bad
go to
one.
hell. I'm sorry. I don't want Chinese backing me. I don't want. If I have to get in bed with dictators and communists, I will not be a part of that business.
No,
And
absolutely.
anybody who's worth any salt and believes in what America should be and what it used to be, yeah, we have our issues, but every country has its issues. You should not be supporting this. You should be backing the fuck up and saying, no, we are taking money from people who are murdering their own citizens at a alarming rate, starving their own people. They locked their people during the coronavirus and welded door shuts. They welded the door shut on their homes so they could not leave because they didn't want them to spread coronavirus and that. That is horrible. They're a horrible government.
Hey, they lifted the rule on having 2 children. Now you can.
And watch, we're going to get banned by China now.
I don't give a
Which
fuck.
would be awesome because
Would
I'd be
be.
like the happiest man in the world because that's
That
free
means people are
publicity.
paying
Pretty
attention
sure
to
we're
us.
not in China.
But
We're not.
we do have one Romanian downloader, by the
Thank
way.
you.
You're
Oh, by
fucking
the way, dude,
awesome.
you're the man. We
yeah,
love you.
I don't know who you are.
You know what
but,
I also learned today? I learned something interesting today. I was following Latin languages. I'm reading. I'm a history guy.
fucking nerd.
I am.
All of us are.
Did you know
Yeah, I don't think anyone at
the remaining Latin languages, because it's like Latin has kind of become like English. Everybody speaks a little bit different English in like every country. Well, Latin is the same, right? You got Italian, you got French, you got Spanish, you got Portuguese. You also have Romanian.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
I totally never realized that. I've been studying. I studied that, Rome my whole life in Latin and all that shit, part of history, and I never heard the word Romania. It makes
yeah,
sense now that you think about it. Like,
Romansh too, which is the 4th. By the way, we bitch about having one national language here in the United States, which we don't have any. Fucking Switzerland has 4.
Mm-hmm.
So like, just imagine living in that place. Romansh is one of them, and it's only spoken in Switzerland. It's also a Latin-based Romance language.
yeah,
but
I didn't know
Romania-
that. I had no idea.
Romania, I don't know. I mean, like, if you guys have read up on us or anything like that, we are avid travelers. I love seeing cultures all over the world. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do is just go places and see how they live life. And, like, yeah, do I enjoy going to big cities in other countries? Yeah, sure. But I also love going to,
The
like, these
little
little small,
places.
the little small towns or, like, these little places off the beaten path. And I love history. And, yeah, I'm a big fucking nerd.
Wait till we go to France in July and put some videos up. Of
Oh
that.
yeah, no, Bicker Bunch International is going to be a thing. Me, Jim, and Brandon are going to be hitting
Taking
the
it
road.
on the road.
Yeah, and
You can.
I got a
hear
dog sit.
You can hear me butcher another language.
yes, you can.
Yeah, Nick has to sit a herd of dogs
There's
Get all the dogs.
and two cats.
I might be blowing my brains out towards the end. Just want to let you guys know.
Yeah,
They'll be
you're fine.
okay.
I mean,
They'll love you to
if the
death.
dogs get too rowdy, you can just put them in a cage and go hang out with the cats.
That's true. That's the one good thing about pets. You can put them in a cage
The
when
cats-
they
the
get too
cats-
much.
So
why are pets better than children? It's okay if I crate my dogs,
and have a beer. No.
and have a beer.
but no. So me and all of us, actually, it's not just me and Jam. Like, every single person at this table love traveling and we love culture. And Romania is actually like a bucket list location for me. There are so many fucking things I want to see in Romania, and like, I thought it was hilarious when that popped up because that's one place I've been researching forever. And like, yeah, will I fly into Bucharest? Yeah, I'm not staying there. Like, I'm flying into Bucharest, I'm getting a car, and I'm getting the fuck out of Bucharest, and I'm going to go see all these other crazy places, and then maybe, like, my last 2 or 3 days there, I might spend in Bucharest.
Well, it's
and
like when
see
we
the
go to
city.
France, we fly into Paris. We're not staying in Paris. We're literally landing in Paris and leaving
Yeah,
to go
I mean-
to all the other cool
Yeah,
little
I mean,
We
places.
will be staying in Paris at the end.
At the
Yeah,
end.
at the end, right? I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to see all
like
the
a
sights
day
of
or
Paris.
two.
Yeah, but I'm not totally... I mean, there's a whole bunch of shit I want to see in Paris when we go there, but... There are so many other places that country that a lot of Americans, it's really expensive to travel over there. And luckily I had these tickets bought.
Traveling anywhere from the U.S. is expensive
It is.
because
Well,
everywhere's not
It's
near
so
us.
far away, yeah.
Unless you're going to Mexico or Canada.
Yeah, and then, so like, when I go over there, I want to see all kinds of shit. So, like, luckily I had bought these tickets before I lost my job and before I couldn't work anymore. And yeah, like, I'm going over there and I'm going ham, and I'm going to be stopping
So excited.
all over the place. Like, I'm just going to be driving down the road and I'm going to see something and be like, nope, I'm stopping here. And
Castle.
Yeah, right.
You
Chateau.
know, one of the best things we
Chateau.
did is when we did that Mexican cruise. I know people say, "Oh, you don't go anywhere on a cruise," but
Oh man, cruises are the best vacations.
but
If
when
you
we
haven't
did
done
Mexico and we did that
I've never done one.
that walk,
You gotta do
we,
one.
we went and we did a what was it? What city was
In
that?
Mazatlan?
Was it Mazatlan? Yeah. And you're doing that walk through there, and we went to that grocery, and you saw a different culture,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Mexican culture is just as beautiful as anybody's.
Yeah.
That's why Trump can lick my balls on that one.
I mean, he can lick my balls for a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. But Mexican culture is beautiful, and their people are beautiful, and it was so much fun just mingling with Mexican people and watching them shop, and
Well, and
I just
all the
love to
colors.
observe
They have
them.
So many colors.
Oh,
and,
the
like,
city was
things
bright
they
and
make.
beautiful.
They make so many cool things, like the little.
And nobody
paper
was shitty.
flowers
Everybody was
or-
polite. Everybody was nice. We couldn't speak their language, but they would try to help. Like if you had a question, they'd help you. They try to figure it out what you're saying.
Most
Most
people,
people will.
Yeah, every country I've ever been to, right? I've been to Hong Kong, Dubai, India, Australia, and then like a whole bunch of Caribbean countries and Mexico, Canada. I've never been anywhere that I've been like outrightly ostracized in, except for India. Like in India, they were the only people that just like did not want us there. But I was there, we were a military deployment coming in, giant carrier pulling in, shit like that. Like, we disrupt shit when we pull in. I'm not gonna lie, you unleash 5,000 sailors on a place, we're gonna fuck some shit up. So I totally get if a carrier pulls in and you're a dick to us, like 100% understand it. But nowhere else did I ever see that, right? And yeah, there's plenty of places I went, especially Hong Kong, where like I couldn't speak the language. But it's amazing how well pointing and gestures and like laughing, like it's some of the funniest conversations I had, like the tiny saucy. Me and my buddy we finally got off the boat that night, and like it took us forever because in Hong Kong we anchor out on a carrier. We anchor out like 5 or 7 miles or something like that, and then we take these little rickety ass boats into the city, and it takes a long time. A lot of people throw up. It's really bad. And we finally get there. So we're walking around. We haven't eaten anything that day, and we're fucking starving. And we poke our head around the corner, and there's just a sign that sticks out, right? And the only thing the sign says is "delicious restaurant." And we were like,
That
Well,
describes what I want.
yeah, like I want delicious food, and that's a delicious restaurant. So we're going there. So we go in there, and the proprietor of the restaurant spoke like fucking no English whatsoever, like very, very, very little bit of English. And especially in Asia, a lot of the menus will have pictures. Like pretty much every single thing on there will have pictures. And it's funny, we always say like the white people, we order picture menus. Whenever we pull into a place, we have no idea what the food is, and we're just like, oh, that looks good, I want that. And she looked at me, and I was like, I want that. And she was like, you want tiny saucy? And I was like, I don't know what that means. And I was like,
Sure.
sure. And she's like, okay, tiny saucy. And goes back and brings the food out a little bit later, and it's fucking amazing. And there was just like this little tiny saucy on it. I don't know. Like,
Tiny saucy.
Tiny
I
saucy.
have no idea what like.
Oh yes,
does
we
it-
give you tiny saucy.
Yeah, I don't know if it was supposed to come with more saucy, and I ordered it with less saucy, but I have no idea. And it was like one of those hilarious exchanges that I'll always remember. And that's the thing that it boggles my mind when I meet people who haven't left their state or something like that.
Oh,
And
their
I'm
town.
Their city,
Yeah.
you know?
Or
Like-
their island.
yeah, especially in Rhode Island. Yeah, in Newport,
I
man.
haven't left this island in 31 years. What?
Yeah.
This island is like 20 miles by 20 miles.
Yeah,
Well,
like
it's like when I graduated high school and I left immediately. And then I did some traveling and I did some stuff. I went back home. To see friends. And then I'm with these friends. And because I had traveled and because I had done things, I had nothing in common with them anymore because they stayed home always doing the same thing. And it was like, oh, wow, I have changed. It's not that they have changed. It's I have changed.
Yeah.
I've grown. I've changed the way I look at the world.
no, I've seen so
That
many
happens when you
places.
travel.
So many places, and like when I was in Dubai, we we used to pull in. We didn't pull into Dubai, right? The U.S. military actually owns a place in the UAE called Jabal Ali. It's in the area of Jabal Ali, and there's a pier there and a little base that we kind of have. That's ours, and so we pull in there, and it's like a 20-minute drive to to actual Dubai, and Dubai is an amazing place. Holy shit, that place is fucking insane. All the shit that's there. I went there a month apart from each other, and each time you go there, it's like going to a different city because they're building shit so quickly. And so I was on watch. We called them bus riders. So I just sat on the bus for some reason. I have no idea. So these buses, they're actually like fucking 15 passenger vans or something like that. And they just drive back and forth. And they drive from the pier to one of the malls and then just back and forth like that. And this dude totally saw, the bus driver totally saw that I was just bored out of my mind going back and forth. And he was like, have you ever been to the city? And I was like, no. So I'm sitting in the passenger seat with him, and he's like, oh, you've never been here before? And I was like, no, it's my first time here. It's my first day here, right? I have this, and I'll actually be able to go out tomorrow. And this dude took me all around the city, showed me all this crazy shit, and like it's the shit you would never see if you just like got there and went there yourself, right? The fact that a local, and like when I got back, that bus had been gone for so long, they were like determining if he was a terrorist threat or not. But this dude was like the nicest guy in the fucking world. Super cool, showed me all the fucking places. He's like, oh yeah, this big building over here, that's that, some sheik owns that, and like this place over here, I live over there, like it's kind of a poor area. And he's like, if you want to see something crazy, go to Abu Dhabi. And like this dude is like seriously one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. And like the only thing that everyone thought when I got back was like he was trying to kill me. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. He was just being a cool fucking dude. Yeah. Like, he saw I was bored, and he wanted to like show me his city and his culture.
Oh, definitely a terrorist.
Our media has made us scared too. And it's done that in every country. Every country has this weird issue with like I guess quasi xenophobia or straight up.
Well, we always have to have someone to hate.
Yeah.
Or someone to blame for something.
Exactly. Yeah. Europe right now is having an influx of Muslims moving into there, and now you got like the alt-right European people like, oh my God, this is bad, and it's terrible, right? And you got the alt-right, it's the Mexicans, and
Britain, like UK, is like wildly racist.
Oh, wildly!
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every year they have like
too.
numerous just during the Premier League seasons.
Yeah,
like they have numerous incidents of fans chanting stuff. Like they have like whole stadiums chanting racist stuff.
Oh yeah. But
they're people, man. People generally people just want one thing.
Yeah,
to get paid and be left alone.
Yeah, legitimately, that's it. They want to be able to have their lives and have their lives the way they want to enjoy their lives. And what we have to understand, especially over here in the Western world, is that we were never taught. Like I could show you a cross. I could show you, the Star of David, right? The Jewish symbol. But I could show you the Islamic symbol, and you wouldn't know what that is. No. Right? And it's because we don't teach that over here, and we're afraid of it. We're afraid of it because some assholes, a minority of Islamists, were extremists and fucked some shit up over here. And now suddenly we hate all of them, and there's no reason for it because most of them just want to be fucking people.
And I've met many Chinese people in my life, and I love the Chinese people, but I hate the Chinese government.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Right?
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
hate the
I have
Chinese.
nothing against their people. Their people are just trying to live their lives, and I get it. But their government is evil.
It's like most.
Their government is murdering people.
Most of the governments.
Yeah, it's like North Korea. Like, do I have an issue with North Koreans?
No,
I've never
God,
actually
no.
met one.
Never met one. But
no, I mean, you can't really help yourself when you're literally born from birth thinking that your
leader's your God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't go against the party. Like that's
that. So I was actually one day, I was reading. There are certain things that I'll get like wildly interested in. One of them was the Chernobyl disaster, and then the other one was North Korean propaganda. And you think about it over here, right? And you're like, how could somebody believe that?
Well, it's the only thing you've been taught.
But then I equate it to religion.
If It's the only thing you've been taught.
I look at religion because I am a hardcore atheist. I'm a firebrand atheist. I think religion is the root of every single fucking problem in the world.
A lot of them.
Most of them. And it's the same thing. You're just indoctrinated in this from the beginning. Do you seriously think there's a bearded fucking sky magician out there determining everyone's fate, but somehow we all still have free will?
Yes. Supernatural told me so.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's a great show and I love it.
It's a great show.
But like,
I mean, the ending is amazing.
If you
haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I'm on season 8.
Hurry up.
I'm working on it.
I want to talk about it.
so like, I don't know. I look at that, right? And I look at it as like, I went to a Catholic high school and they taught me all about religion. And if you want to get somebody to be an atheist, you teach them about religion. Like
as an adult, yeah. I went to, God, how many years was I at
14?
Catholic school?
Jesus.
That sounds right. 14. That sounds right.
Well, you went to like Baptist pre-K and then Catholic pre-K and then all through.
No, it was 16.
Oh.
16 years because 4 years of college, I have had 20 years of schooling. 16 of them in the first 2 years as pre-K in a Baptist in a Baptist pre-K, and then I started my pre-K in Catholic school. So, yay!
Yeah, so I just went to high school.
And when you're taught religion every single year, and then you learn more and more and more and more about it, you're like, wait. Especially when they teach you critical thinking, which they don't teach that in schools anymore. So I guess you're fine. But when you're taught critical thinking and then taught all these other things, you're like, something doesn't add up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I went to go to study history at a college that I will not name. But,
I told you.
I was like, okay, it'd be fine. Like, there's some religious stuff kind of filtered into it, but it'd be fine. And then I read what they said about history because I was going to be a history major, and they're like, one of the major reasons to study history is because Jesus is central to history. And I was like, you mean the person that, if he did exist, wasn't around for most of history?
Yeah.
Is central to all of history?
Yeah, was around for maybe 33 years. And I'm giving credit to the fact that he even existed because the people who kept immaculate records never had a record of him.
And the thing is, I grew up, most of my family is from the South, and the deep South. And most of them have come to the realization that, it's not a true story. It's not a book. It's just rules, guidelines to live by. But there are those people that think that is literally the word of a deity.
Yeah.
And all of those stories are 100% true, and all of that happened, and it's just like...
Okay, let me tell you, I'm just going to touch on 2 stories from the Bible because I've read the entire thing because I'm a nerd and I love to research things. I will tell you 2 stories from the Bible that are impossible no matter what. One, a guy cannot live in the belly of a fish for 3 fucking days.
But it was a big fish, Matt.
Yeah, so really I actually argued this on Facebook with somebody one time, and I was like, because sure, someone can live in the stomach of a whale, and their retort to me was, it wasn't a whale, it was a giant fish. And I said, great, someone could totally live in the thing that doesn't breathe oxygen over the thing that uses gills to extract oxygen from water, right? Like, if you fucking think about it, living in a whale makes way more sense than living in a giant fish, because a whale actually fucking breathes the air that we breathe. It's a mammal, right? But no, a religious zealot will never actually fucking think of anything. So, and then...
It's faith.
The second,
Yeah,
right.
that's the cop-out. Everything's just like, it's about faith.
You just have to believe. And the second
Gotta
one...
have faith. Sorry, I like that song. Anyway.
The second one is...
I feel attacked right now.
There is 0 chance that people can walk around a walled city for 3 days yelling at it and the walls fall down.
I've done that.
The retort to that one was...
God's will.
Yeah, no, legitimately, the retort to that one was, no, they didn't walk around the city for 3 days and the wall fell down after they yelled at it. They walked around the city for 3 days and yelled at it, and God tore the wall down. And I was like,
Yes.
you're a goddamn idiot. Like, there's like, I'm sorry, if you believe any of that, you're the dumbest fucking person I've ever met. And
I disagree.
I don't.
I have met. I too don't believe in it at all. But I have met some very smart people in my life who are religious. They might not believe in those stories, right? But they believe in God and they believe in Christianity.
They believe in faith and morals.
Or they believe.
That's the part you should take out.
Well,
Yeah, no,
the
they
problem
believe-
is one of the big things, and it's big in philosophy, especially when you study philosophy, is trying to separate morals from religion. Because a philosopher or a philosopher who is an atheist will tell you that morals come from humanity in society, right? Where a religious person, they come from God. And it is really hard to explain to people that I won't kill you because it's not good for anybody for me to kill
right.
you.
That's the thing.
It's bad for society and it's bad for me. Like, it's not good for me.
Well, yeah, because we're social creatures.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
If you
right.
ostracize me because I killed this person, you don't want to associate
like,
with
No,
me.
and I don't blame you. Yeah.
And I talked about it earlier, right? We had a guy that, the previous builder of our old house
Screwed
right?
everyone over.
Yeah, he
and
stole
he had to
from
leave.
people, right? What happens when you steal from people? Does God punish you? No. People won't do business with you, and they want their fucking money. Like, that's why you don't steal from people, because you'll get fucked up for it.
And the crappy thing is, like, when you start reading and you start going through all the different great thinkers, and then you get into certain ones, and they, like Thomas Aquinas, took what Aristotle said and then said, we'll add God. And Thomas Aquinas was right in a lot of things, but his addition to God kind of muddled up some things, right?
Well, I mean, at certain times in history, they kind of had to, or they would.
Or they'd be killed.
Killed.
True.
That's the
And
other
that
thing.
was one of the beliefs why Aristotle supported religion, was because when he started talking about the priest, those priests were going to have him killed.
Yeah, and I don't want
It's
to get into this.
amazing things you'll believe when,
Well,
you're
you do what you got to
threatened
do to
death.
live, right?
Yeah,
Life
and,
is
well,
important.
It's not
you know?
necessarily that you're.
Believe in this or I will kill you. Okay, I believe in it.
Well, no, it's
Please let me live. It's fine.
well, it's not just that, right? And I was talking about it,
I
earlier.
just want
right?
to live my life and be left alone.
When that's all you know. Just
Yeah,
like
that's true.
North Korea thinking they're fucking dictators of God. Like,
Well, like
when
I-
that's all you know, that's all you know. And like, everyone can like, either some people either love him or hate him. And I'm not going to get into this right now in a whole fucking conversation. But Kant, Immanuel Kant. Yes, did he have very religious overtones to his philosophy? Yes, but he grew up in 17th century or 18th century Germany that was ran by the goddamn church. Like, yeah, he was going to have religious overtones because that's all he knew.
Well, it's like when you were talking about, like, we were taught in schools the religion and whatever, and then you grow up and you learn more and more about it, and then you're like, wait a minute. But if they would have stopped, I would have kept believing it.
Yeah, right. There's a point.
When you're young, you trust your parents, and you will believe anything your parents say.
Yeah, right. You
and
think
you
Santa
will
Claus
believe
is
what
real.
your
I
teachers
didn't
will
trust
say.
anyone
Like,
from birth.
The issue,
like buffaloes are extinct.
I know you don't want to
will
get
trust
into it.
your authority figure until you learn buffaloes aren't extinct.
No, I ate one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
He was tasty.
We'll have to do a philosophy one day, because
Oh, I
Philosophy
mean, that's
is
when the
fun.
That's when the bickering of the
But
Bicker Bunch is really going to.
I don't
gonna-
think
you're
so.
gonna have to
though,
give me some warning
because
so I can do some,
really
some more research.
the big difference between the two camps in Kant, Marx, and
Don't put Kant Marx together; they weren't the same.
cunt marks.
okay, but at their base they were. They believed in more than they believed in two realities, right? The
Something I
reality
would
that
have
we
to
see
research.
and the reality that is real that we cannot perceive. Where the Aristotle side of things believed in reality as it is, as we see, feel, touch, everything. That's where the big division happens, and that's where things get a little
Look.
dicey.
I view every single philosopher out there like I view every single thing out there, right? There is right and there is wrong. No one has every answer.
100% correct.
disagree.
Right. Kant didn't have every answer.
There's not just right and wrong. There's a middle.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's it, right? There's a middle ground to everything, right?
I don't believe everything's black and white.
There's
Yeah.
just varying
'Cause-
degrees of wrong.
There's just gray. Everything
I
is
mean,
gray
yeah.
all the time.
But you look at, we're talking about philosophy now, but if you drop that down to a level that a lot more people can connect with is politics. You got right, you got left, you got centrist, right? Like, I am probably I would say I'm probably center left, but like, I think no matter what, like, if you have right and left, you're ignoring so much, right? The reason our country worked for so long and was great for so long is because everyone got together and said, hey, let's meet in the middle. Some of your ideas are good. Some of your ideas were good. Let's combine them to make better ideas. And now we're just like, no, fuck you.
But
Like
see,
you-
that's the
like
problem.
you
Politics and philosophy are different. Politics should be and always should be about compromise and making shit work. Where philosophy is about thought, and there shouldn't be, if you believe in something, especially if you're a principled person, you should never ever compromise what you believe.
Politicians don't believe in
That's-
anything
that's
except
your
for power.
opinion, man.
Well, no,
It's
but
just your opinion.
no,
It's just like your opinion.
but what
I
I'm
love that
saying,
movie.
but what I'm saying is though, like,
One of the best ever.
no, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. But what I'm saying is, like, you can't. Yeah, did Aristotle have some great thoughts, right? Yeah, absolutely. But he also thought that when you fucking sneezed and the snot came out, that it was part of your fucking brain, right?
It was,
He wasn't
yeah.
right on everything.
No,
Nobody-
and I never
nobody
said
is.
that. But when it comes to his views on man and his views, like, man has a being. People get all offended when you say that nowadays. But as human beings, and his thoughts on how to perceive our world, he was way more right than vast majority of them.
Yeah, but again, there was things that he was
And there was a
right about.
lot less mysticism in what he was saying. Now, Aristotle's problem is he was never consistent because he also lived in an era where there was a lot of mysticism. He also
Oh, yeah, it was-
was
Of
a
course.
student of Plato who was full of fucking mysticism. So there's a certain amount of mysticism that he's just
Right.
not
They
going
had
to
like
lose.
20 million different gods, so of
Yeah,
course.
well, that's
Exactly.
also
And he's
the thing.
Greek.
Like,
the earthquake, it was this god.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
volcano exploded.
Which makes a
it
lot
was
more
this god.
sense than one guy being in charge of literally everything. Like,
yeah,
That's
I mean,
actually true.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I'm going monotheistic or polytheistic religions, like what my favorite, as I was reading a study, it was years ago, but they did the mathematical approach to how many gods there are and like what is reality, and the highest percentage, right, the most realistic, is that this is all a simulation.
It's the Matrix.
And I don't agree with that, right? But it was like probability-wise, it was the highest, and then
because you're programmed to not believe with it.
probably, and
But
then
it's a programmer who can't spell, so
yeah, and that's why I have that. Like, there's a little
The
fucking
programmers
hiccup.
are never wrong.
There's that little hiccup in my code somewhere, and I disagree.
We got to
And,
go back and read it, and we'll find it, and we'll fix ourselves.
Yeah, right.
I'm actually following the real God, obviously.
And then
as a
yeah, and
programmer.
then and that's why people in their 70s and 80s, when their program's about to finish, right, they suddenly believe in Jesus, and but there was that was number one, and then like right below that was no God, right? Obvious, come on, and then underneath that was the pantheon. And then way down at the bottom at like 0.01% was monotheistic religions, only one God. And they're like, this is just like, it's the most asinine idea you can ever have. Some fucking magic space dad running everything.
See, I'm weird. I've always been, if someone wants to believe in that and believe in a God, I'm fine. I've always found
No, I don't
if
care.
you
Religion.
leave me alone.
Yeah, that's it, right? I don't
Right.
care if you're a religious person, and I never will, right? Whatever you believe is your beliefs.
Yeah.
And
Like,
if it makes you happy, hell,
It's-
who's
it's-
to tell you not to be happy?
right? It's like having a big dick. You
But
can be proud of
please,
it.
Don't show it to me.
Yeah, right. having the biggest dick in the room. You can be really proud
Just
that you have the
don't pull it
biggest
out
dick in
in
the
a party.
room. Don't wave it in front of me, and don't shove it down my throat. I don't want those. Like, that's religion to me.
That's wrong.
No, I work in the business I am. There's a lot of people are very, they're not necessarily religious, but they do believe in a God, and that's fine. Like our mom, believes in God. She's not religious at all. Our dad is very spiritual, but he's not religious. He believes in God, and And I'm okay with that. I never cared about that. I've always been fine with that. And I always will be fine with that. I personally, because of my philosophical views and what I have learned over my life and what I have studied, I have a hard time believing in any of it.
Yeah, right. My thing is that you can pick out any point of religion and anything that religion teaches, and you can find a natural way to explain it, right? How did we get here, right? Evolution. And by the way, if you deny evolution, you're also an idiot, because we see it in the coronavirus right now when all these variants are popping up. The virus is evolving based on you assholes not getting vaccinated. And, you know, we could see, I mean, we just did it with mosquitoes. They released a bunch of mosquitoes in Florida that were genetically engineered to not produce females, so they don't bite, right? And it stops the spread of malaria or any other the 90 million fucking diseases mosquitoes carry. And it's evolution, right? We introduced that.
We've been doing that for years, man. Because I mean, with like any of the plants, we used to do cross-pollinations.
Cross-pollinations.
To
Yeah,
like grow this little wheat into like the corn you see today, or the taste of watermelon, or that tomatoes are red.
Yeah, because I mean, tomatoes are a big one.
With our fucking dogs, we've done that.
Yeah, and you know, like the fact that
from wolves to bulldogs,
every banana out there is a clone. Every banana out there is a clone of one banana, right? And that's why the bananas that we eat and the bananas our parents ate were different. Because in like I think it was like the 60s or something like that, there was a huge like banana blight, and it killed off, because every banana, they just break it off of one tree, stick it in the ground. Almost every banana is from the same banana tree. And we ran it, they were called the Michel Gray bananas, and they all died out. And now we eat the Cavendish bananas, which aren't as sweet. And like, yeah, guess what, guys? That was forced evolution, or I guess it was the exact opposite. We stopped evolution from happening in that case.
Interesting thing, and not meaning to change subject, the movie Interstellar is about that. It starts off where they talk about food getting blight, and they said it started with a banana, and then it started spreading to other foods slowly but surely over time, and then the human food supply died.
We'll have to do that movie as one of our movies.
That is easily one of my top like 5 movies of all time. I love that movie.
It happened with
haven't seen it.
But
it's
I mean,
fucking good.
The same thing happened with the potato blight, right? We had the same exact strain. All of Ireland had the same exact strain of potatoes, and a blight affected that specific, species of potato, and it wiped out all the potatoes. And then the English said, "That sucks," and a whole bunch of fucking Irish died, and that's why they hate each other. And one of the many reasons.
One of the many.
Yeah.
And I say that might be a little
similar
simplified.
to why.
Yeah, right. Like I just completely simplified the Australian the English and Irish like hatred of each other. I'm like
the Taiwan-China issue we were talking about before is kind of similar to what happened with Ireland and England in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a country, we are a country.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're part of us. Well, you know what? We have our own government and our own constitution.
Little bit of your country is part of our country now.
Yeah.
Why can't we just leave everything as is?
Yeah, here's my thing.
Seriously, all the land has been discovered. You got what you got. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I get it. Resources. That's the main reason people go to war is resource or religion.
Well, for Russia, it's the port. It's that port. They want that port.
Right.
That's the
Crimea.
port. Yeah, that's why they want it. That's a shipping port.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
it's actually
seriously.
because if we cut that port off, so if the Russians didn't have access to that port, the United Nations could entirely blockade it.
That's true.
And that's why Russia wants it.
Yeah.
But that's getting into like geopolitical conversations that are
and it's like
I get it.
and we've been going for like
but
way
at the
too
same
long.
time, come on, just leave it alone, man.
So tonight we talked about a whole bunch of shit that
We
was
did.
sort of related
And
to
we
a whole
never
bunch of
got to
shit.
Seagal.
We never got to Steven Seagal.
we're gonna save him
Oh, okay.
because
Are we?
no, we're not gonna save him.
It
There's no
will.
saving that man. Let's just be completely honest with
It
you.
would probably take like 2 seconds. Go ahead.
What?
About Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Go, Brandon.
Steven Seagal?
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal.
Seagal.
Oh, it was just him joining a freaking Russian political party, and I
And now
found out that he's
you
been
can buy his house here
So,
in Phoenix, Arizona.
he would have
for like
rathered-
$3 million.
Sold his house here in Phoenix instead of
You know why, right?
That's probably because
Just
he's like
drop
treated
his-
like a freaking
That's it.
baron over there.
That's it.
His movies are still loved
His
over there.
movies
and
are
shit.
loved in Russia, and everyone in the United States for the entire time he was ever acting thought he was a fucking goober and a fat bitch.
Yeah.
And that's why Steven Seagal loves Russia, because
That's why I
over
always
there,
find
he's
it
popular.
weird.
Yeah, Putin like freaking loves his movies. So.
Yeah, well, because Putin is also a fucking turd bag.
Yeah, but you take like Van Damme, right? Van Damme was a actual kickboxer and had a very good record. He was
Muscles from Brussels.
right. So when he did his stuff, everyone's like, "Oh, he's fake." I'm like, no, actually, he was quite real because that's actually what he used to do. Steven Seagal, I don't think like it's weird when you see him like
No,
go to
it's
cops
Seagal.
and he's teaching cops how to do hand-to-hand combat. It's like, no, you will do this, and you know, and it's like. These cops are like, dude, we actually learn hand-to-hand combat in jiu-jitsu. What the fuck are you trying to teach
Oh,
us?
Steven Seagal's.
I'm teaching you Aikido, you know, because he has that weird kind of voice. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, it is the funniest thing because you're watching these cops are like, right. You know?
Yeah.
It's so
I mean, and
hilarious.
Steven Seagal is really just like the super fan guy who should be in his basement. But
Yeah.
someone let him out and no one stopped him.
He's like the guy, like me. To me, he's always been like that guy, like me. Like, you know what? I can kickbox. All right, yeah, you did some class when you're 18, but you hadn't learned enough. I'm gonna go be an action star, and then I'm gonna get so in my head that I am real,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
right.
go teach cops.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what Steven Seagal is. Like, he watched so many karate movies that he was like, I'm going to teach the world.
Well, everybody was kung fu fighting.
When you want to teach people how to defend themselves, you'd send like Eddie Bravo or the Gracies or
Yeah. Okay. So
actual
or literally
kickboxers.
anybody other than Steven
Yeah,
Seagal.
Steven Seagal's the last guy you call. Like, I'm
There's-
sorry.
I love people that do martial arts that take it seriously, like it's a form of self-defense, because it's not. Like,
I disagree.
no, I don't at all, because like you can be this jujitsu
Well, of
master.
course not. You don't disagree with yourself. I mean,
You can be this jujitsu
I disagree.
master,
Did you
right?
disagree with yourself?
And like, if some dude's got a knife or a gun, you're gonna fucking lose. And guess what? We're in America.
Oh, true.
And
true.
especially in Arizona, damn near everybody. Like, I was walking around today with a gun in my pocket because I didn't want to have it in the house for showings. And like,
There was-
yeah, if some dude came up to me and started getting fucking low and trying to drop me, I'm shooting the motherfucker.
Oh, I get that. There was an
Probably just
incident.
laugh.
There's and you
Or
read
that.
about it all the time. I can't remember the UFC fighter, but
Oh, the dude in Brazil who beats the shit out of people.
no,
whenever they try to
no,
rob him?
he was. It was a woman. She
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah.
small one. She's like 150, but she was a strawweight woman, and she was good too. I can't remember her name, and I feel bad. But a guy came up to mug her. And she's a black belt in
Oh, okay,
jiu-jitsu.
no, there's a
she
difference.
folded that man in half and held him there in a rear naked
There's a-
choke until the cops came.
There's a difference between being a professional fighter and going to karate.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think
If
people
you
like
are
her
a professional fighter,
would
yeah,
fucking kill me.
Sure, but like, is every single fucking fat bastard with a
Oh,
bad
no.
knee out there
No.
that goes to
Fuck
fucking
no.
karate gonna defend themselves? No,
I do like how you threw that in there, by the
I
way.
feel attacked right now.
I don't know if you have the bad knee, but
I actually do. It hurts right now.
oh, sorry.
But like, no, it's not gonna happen.
No,
And
you
I
are
think it's-
correct.
I think it's hilarious, and these people are like, "Oh, I'm a fucking brown belt." Like, yeah, that's great. Like, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. Like, that's awesome. I'm not gonna like. You can still kick my ass.
But you know the
easily.
difference too is that UFC guy or that professional fighter. What's his name there? Oh God, Wonder Boy always says, "What would you do if someone pulled a gun?" And he goes, "I'd run."
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the baddest men on the planet, and you know what? He's right. The guy pulls a knife on me, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Like the best. Anybody who says I'm going to sit there and fight him is a fucking fool.
Yeah, you know what's
you
gonna-
get the fuck out of the way. You're like, no, this is a bad situation, and leave. You use the fighting if you have no choice.
That's actually why weapons were created in the first
Yeah,
place,
exactly.
so that to even the battlefield
Yeah.
between people who could fight hand to hand and people that couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And like, if me and Jam, like, if someone breaks into our house and tries to fucking rob us or something like that, like, yeah, me and Jam have gun. Like, I have a gun in my nightstand. She has one in hers, and just
I'm a
in case.
damn good shot.
Yeah, and both of
Not
us.
Actually,
compared
she
to
is.
professionals, but I mean,
But like, what am I going to do hear someone break into my house, my dog's going
Call
crazy.
911.
I'm gonna call 911. I'm locking the door.
Barricade the door and hope you don't have to use the fucking gun.
I'm gonna have the gun on me. I'm calling 911. I will inform the police that I am armed in my bedroom, and they will have to show their badge to me when they arrive. And then I am barricading my door, and I am letting my dog out just in case Humphrey decides that he wants to fucking rip a face off.
He's a big boy. He could.
Them.
Yeah, and like
Just lick him to
Milo would just love them, but
Yeah.
Humphrey, I think, might actually kill them.
Carlos would roll over.
and that's what I am going to do, and I'm going to maintain that situation. Like, do I carry a gun with me all the time? Like, oh yeah, if anyone runs
No.
up on me, I'm gonna shoot him. No, that's like that. A
No,
gun
it
to
stays
me.
Those
at
are the
home.
people who shouldn't have guns.
Yeah, exactly. But those, and we can get into that later too. But those are, I have weapons for self-defense, primarily for self-defense, and it's a damn
Last
shame.
case scenario.
I think that I need them for self-defense. Like, I would love to live in a place where I never thought I would need one, but unfortunately,
People are terrible.
It's exactly right.
It's
And
unfortunate,
I live in
for
a
sure.
country
There's
with
bad people everywhere. Yeah.
you know, I live in the most successful third world country ever, and
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're getting
really
there.
don't. Well, we ever did.
That's a little bit of a jump.
That's a big jump. But no, I've always thought it was funny when you get like the guy who does like the what's the big one that everybody's doing now? Not Aikido. Is it? What's the
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga? And they're doing that like, yeah, I'd kill everybody with this. Like, you can, but go use that Krav Maga on Dustin Poirier. Watch him just
No,
dismantle
you know why Krav Maga works really good when you have like Navy SEAls and shit that do it? Is because those guys are already fucking like deadly people.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
They're already
why-
trained in a lot of other
yeah.
stuff. That's just an extra tool.
Yeah, it's a tool, right?
You
Go-
learning that, and that's the only thing you know, is not going to do shit.
Go,
Yeah, if
go
someone-
walk up to a pro fighter and say, I'm going to use my Krav Maga. I'm going to kick your ass, get in that
no,
octagon.
it's
You're
called
going to
the
die.
element of surprise.
Yeah.
No, you know what the element of surprise is?
Where you
The
surprise
dude
them.
pulling a gun on you and you
Yeah.
running the fuck away.
Get the
because
fuck out, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. If someone pulls a gun on me, points it to my head and says, give me your wallet, I'm giving him my fucking wallet. Like, I'm not trying to disarm him and do any fucking wacky
No,
shit.
fuck
No,
no.
I'm
I'ma
giving him my
die.
goddamn
I'd die.
wallet, and then I'm going to go, I mean, the dude's going to be sad. I have like fucking $4 in here. And then I'm going to go cancel my fucking credit cards, and I'm going to walk away with my life, and then I'll be all bitched up that I have to like reset all my bills and stuff like that.
I mean, hey, I did it
Leave
on
me alone.
purpose. It's okay.
No,
Yeah,
you're
right.
You're gonna get shot, and then I'm gonna become the Batman to avenge you.
At least someone will. And on that,
But I won't have any money, so I'll just be
be like-
running around in a fucking cape.
be the saddest Batman ever. All
Dude,
those, like
I've seen Brandon jump off a building. It doesn't work.
all those alternative Batmans out there.
Batman doesn't work without the money.
Ow.
And on that, we are going to end tonight.
Are we doing Inspire Bot?
I
quotes,
am
or are we
getting
giving
there.
rid of? Oh,
Jesus.
sorry.
Calm down.
No, just like
Whoa.
the theme song.
Everybody
That no
simmer
one
down.
knows that
Whoa.
the
Simmer
first
down.
episode.
And in light of tonight's accidental asshole conversation, today's Inspire Robot quote was, "You're about to turn into an obsessive jerk." Thank you, and have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.